Next time.
Tonight, fasten your seatbelts. International travel set to return as New Zealand agrees to a trans-Tasman bubble. Why millions of doses of the COVID vaccine are sitting idle in Melbourne as anger grows over our snail's pace rollout. Exclusive details of the first overseas flights heading our way, with Melbourne reopening its troubled quarantine hotels. The lowest of the low, CFA volunteers left heartbroken as thieves rob and ransack their station. Lies and exaggerations. Piers Morgan reignites his battle with Meghan and Harry. And seeing the light, the new high-tech solution to Melbourne's traffic gridlock.
Live from Melbourne, 7 News with Peter Mitchell starts now.
Good evening. International travel is finally set to return, with Australians to be welcomed to New Zealand from April the 19th in a travel bubble with no hotel quarantine. Passengers will be forced to wear masks on flights, have random temperature checks and be warned any local COVID outbreaks could slam the borders shut.
Flight NZ 103 arrives in Sydney this morning, a sight about to become a lot more common.
This is an exciting day, an arrangement I do not believe we have seen in any other part of the world.
The long-awaited trans-Tasman bubble, a reality from Monday week, reconnecting families and friends across the ditch.
We welcome them back, as indeed Kiwis will be welcoming Aussies.
About 270 flights a week will be scheduled in each direction, with no need to quarantine at either end. For most Australians, the first opportunity to fly overseas in more than a year.
And all in time for Anzac Day too, which is tremendous.
And the approaching New Zealand skiing season, though traffic this way is likely to be higher.
We hope all those New Zealanders pack their bags and come on over to Australia.
For airlines and airports, a glimmer of hope.
The airlines are ready, and I'm sure there'll be cheap airfares for people to grab that much longed-for holiday over in New Zealand.
Qantas and Jetstar plan 122 return flights a week, Air New Zealand up to another 150. That's more than 100,000 seats a week in total.
We can get more planes in the air, more flying, and that means more of our people back to work.
Virgin, though, isn't on board. After shedding a third of its fleet of 737s, it says it's concentrating on rebuilding its domestic business and won't resume flights to New Zealand until September. Other travel bubbles are being discussed with Singapore, Japan, South Korea and several Pacific nations, but not in the short term, and only when they can prove they have infections under control. Leaving New Zealand the primary destination.
We are a safe place to bring your family to come and visit.
And hundreds of thousands of Australians will. Mark Riley, 7 News.
The vaccine rollout is facing new problems tonight, with millions of doses sitting in CSL's Melbourne factory still waiting to be approved for use. New data shows 1 in 2 Australians will report feeling side effects from the AstraZeneca jab.
Victoria's newest mass vaccination centre, the former Ford factory at Geelong. Frontline workers first in line, 7 weeks after the vaccine rollout began.
It's been hard working knowing that you might be exposed to the virus, but it's a little bit more relief now that we've got the vaccine available.
We think it's safe. We're here.
Pharmacies will remain on the COVID sidelines until at least June, after the federal government delayed naming which locations will be included in the rollout. That directly impacts more than 1.5 million Australians aged 50 and over, all part of Phase 2A.
It is due wholly and solely to supply chain logistics. So it is a logistical delay, not a clinical delay, and we're waiting on those millions of vaccines that have already been produced that are sitting in the CSL factory in Victoria to be approved.
The freeze on supply has caused a cold room backlog at CSL, where almost 3 million doses remain in storage, pending further batch testing by AstraZeneca in Europe. The rollout of the vaccines has been slowed even further over the Easter holidays. It's been the quietest weekend across Australia since the rollout began, but the federal government is still expecting to get to 1 million doses before the end of the week.
Working with the states in terms of more high volume facilities, well, we certainly haven't ruled that out.
Half of the recipients of the AstraZeneca vaccine in Australia have reported some mild side effects. Muscle aches, fever, headaches and chills force some to take time off work, outcomes in line with clinical trials.
I will be receiving the AstraZeneca vaccine, my wife, and hopefully, if it proves so, my children will be receiving the AstraZeneca COVID vaccine, and that's the one that we will be administering through community pharmacy.
Cameron Bowe, 7 News.
There has been the first COVID death in Australia this year. A 77-year-old man from Papua New Guinea losing his battle with the virus in a Brisbane hospital. He'd been medevaced to Australia last month. 7 News can tonight reveal details of the first flights delivering passengers to our rebooted hotel quarantine program. Chanel Vella is at the airport this evening, and Chanel, overseas flights will arrive later this week.
Mitch, 5 flights will arrive on Thursday. All up, they'll be carrying around 80 passengers. And while we know the virus will end up back inside hotel quarantine, we'll have to wait and see if the state government can keep it there. Victoria holds its breath for a third attempt at hotel quarantine. The first international flight into Melbourne for 8 weeks touches down at 4:30 Thursday morning with just 7 passengers on board from Sri Lanka. It will be one of 5 flights on day 1, including arrivals from Singapore and the Middle East. But some stranded Melburnians still aren't willing to take a risk on a Victorian system that's already failed twice before.
I'm not even planning to try to fly directly into Melbourne. I will fly into Sydney, quarantine there, and then go to Melbourne.
Sarah Reynolds has been trying to get home to Brunswick from the UK since March last year. She's since moved to the US with family after her flights were cancelled multiple times.
We really understood it the first time when Melbourne shut down, but this most recent snap lockdown, it was a 5-day lockdown, but they haven't let international flights in until now.
The government says failures have been fixed. Travellers disagree.
It's definitely easier to get into another state. My husband is in Sydney right now, and that was a lot easier, and he's in a lot better conditions than he could have ever hoped for in Victoria.
I had a friend of mine who is from Melbourne. She went to Perth for 2 weeks and did the quarantine in Perth for 2 weeks, knowing it was easy just to pick a route and basically ignore Melbourne.
Victoria is 39 days COVID-free, but the stakes are about to get much higher. Chanel Vella, 7 News.
Homeowners living above the proposed Westgate Tunnel are preparing to head to court for compensation. It could lead to legal action against other major projects as lawyers argue how deep your land rights go.
For 33 years, Astrid Weems-Smith has lived in her 1897 terrace house in Yarraville. She says she owns her block and everything under it.
I own all the way to the centre of the earth.
But the state government wants a big chunk from 15 metres down to drill the Westgate Tunnel. Ms Weems-Smith won't give it up without compensation.
Well, what's a fair figure? I think a lot would be a fair figure.
She's one of 90 Yarraville residents and business owners using this lawyer to fight for a payout to use the underground land and offset lower sale prices.
Between 5 and 10% of the value of the property.
But the state government says other tunnels like Eastlink and CityLink didn't significantly affect values.
The alternative would be to take thousands and thousands of properties above ground at grade to do that similar sort of work.
If the residents succeed, it could impact thousands of homes with other tunnels being built underneath, including North Eastlink and the suburban rail loop.
They're not denying our clients' right to compensation, they're just saying that the compensation is $0.
Lawyers for property owners have been in negotiations with the state government since the middle of last year, but with both sides digging in, the next step is a battle in VCAT or the Supreme Court.
We're not going to give up.
Paul Dowsley, 7 News.
Malcolm Turnbull has been dumped as a key climate change advisor just over a week after his appointment was announced. The former Prime Minister's anti-coal stance has ruffled feathers within the coalition.
Unfortunately for everyone concerned, it was proving to be a distraction.
Mr Turnbull was to be paid $60,000 a year for chairing the Net Zero board. Calls are continuing for the Anzac Day march limit to be lifted despite a slow start to the official registration process. Jade Vincent is at the shrine tonight, and Jade, just 600 people have so far completed the online application.
Yes, Mitch, and one of the first to register was a 94-year-old World War II veteran, keen to ensure he has his place among the cap of 5,000 people currently allowed to march down St Kilda Road here on Anzac Day. New South Wales has reached an agreement to allow a group of 10,000 people marching through Sydney's CBD on Anzac Day. We know the AFL is currently finalising whether or not they'll be able to boost the crowd capacity at the MCG beyond 75,000 for the Collingwood and Essendon match. And we also understand that the RSL now is waiting to see whether they do receive more than 5,000 registrations. Then they'll meet with the state government in mid-April to discuss the current health advice then and whether or not more veterans will be able to take part.
Under the restrictions as they stand today, that's the number that we can accommodate. We would love to have 10,000 veterans marching down the street at 30,000 spectators, but we'll work within the rules that the government set out and we'll make it the best march we can.
Just a reminder that registrations don't necessarily secure you a place in the march, so confirmations will be sent out from April 15. Mitch?
Jade Vincent at the shrine, thank you. It's a low act, stealing from the men and women who keep our community safe. Adding to the pain of a break-in at the CFA station at Warrandyte, much of the stolen equipment is of no use to anyone other than the volunteers.
A community's heart and soul targeted by thieves. Just before dawn, they smashed a back window to break into the Warrandyte CFA headquarters, making off with $20,000 worth of much-needed equipment.
This is a cornerstone of the community. We engage with everything. You know, a couple of days ago we were tin rattling for the Good Friday appeal.
Our major appliance, being the pumper, had been ransacked. They'd taken the thermal imaging camera, a defib, the gas detector and a whole heap of brand new Milwaukee rescue tools.
This Land Cruiser was also stolen. Police found it dumped nearby. Everything inside was gone.
People need to think of the hard work that these volunteers do in supporting the community.
The motive is unclear. It will be difficult for thieves to sell the specialised equipment.
It's community's money and the community's items effectively that have been stolen.
Local police joined CFA volunteers today searching nearby parkland in case the thieves dumped some of the stolen items when they ransacked and abandoned the four-wheel drive.
I don't have much respect for these type of people.
No respect, but a plea for repentance.
Bring it back, you know. What need do you have for the specialty equipment you've taken?
Cassie Zervos, 7 News.
Prime Minister Morrison has chaired the first meeting of his Cabinet Task Force for Women, aimed at driving change in gender inequality. Minister for Women, Marise Payne, hinting the task force will push for reform to be addressed in next month's budget.
This enables us to identify gaps. It also enables us to make decisions on how to fill those gaps.
The task force will also form the government's response to the Respect at Work report. The Reserve Bank is keeping its official interest rate on hold at 0.1%, but banks are betting the next move will be up, with fixed home loan rates on the rise. Finance editor Gemma Acton explains.
Well, despite the Reserve Bank repeating today it doesn't anticipate shifting official rates before 2024, there's no shortage of moves from lenders. No fewer than 27 two-year fixed-rate products had their rates cut last month. The lowest is currently 1.74% from Homestar. But it's a different story for four-year rates. Just 2 lenders cut their rates on these products, while 11 hiked them during March. The most competitive are still Westpac, St George and the Bank of Melbourne, all at 1.89%. On the variable rate front, 4 times as many lenders slashed offers as increased them last month. Reduced home loans is the lowest at 1.77%, and among the big 4, Westpac's rates are still the lowest for every fixed and variable product.
Gemma Acton reporting. It's been a busy Easter for the State Emergency Service, with almost 50 rescue operations across the state.
Unfortunately, a difficult time, particularly at the Easter time, for our volunteers who are spending that time responding for their community.
A worrying number of call-outs were to road crashes. TV host Piers Morgan is doubling down on his claims the Duchess of Sussex shouldn't be believed. Morgan says almost every substantial claim made in a bombshell Oprah interview has proven to be untrue.
Thought it ended last month? Meghan versus Morgan is back on.
Almost all of it has been proven to be untrue.
London's loudest critic of the California-based breakaway royals rips into
the Oprah 90-minute wine-a-thon
1 month after he stormed out of his breakfast show.
Do you know what? That's pathetic.
In fact, Piers Morgan lost his job in a deluge of criticism for his anti-Meghan comments.
I was told that you've got to believe Meghan Markle, and if you don't believe what she's saying, you're a racist.
He now tells US Conservative host Tucker Carlson 17 of the couple's key claims are
completely untrue, or massively exaggerated, or unprovable.
Including
3 days before our wedding, we got married.
If that had happened, just the three of them, the Archbishop would have been arrested for breaking the law.
Contested too?
The decision to not give Archie the title of Prince was based on his skin colour is a lie.
The racism and lack of care for Meghan's mental struggle are still the most contentious claims. What is now clear is that interview is likely to remain contested for years. In the United States, Tim Lester, 7 News.
Back home, it's been a tough few days for the Saints, but Tim Watson, it's not all doom and gloom.
No, Mitch, a club legend says they were immature at the weekend. The skipper has hit back, but a sight for sore Saints' eyes with reinforcements on their way. Paddy is back at the club. The D's demanding respect. Max Gawn tells us the reason behind their unbeaten start to the season. And Mitch, there's some breaking injury news at the Bombers with a star midfielder out for the season.
OK, thanks, Tim. We'll see you a bit later on. They're here to help save Victorian farmers' fruit crops. Next, why flying in workers from the Pacific may be too little too late. Also a frightening ride for passengers as trams collide in Melbourne's northwest. A farmer ploughs a protest over a power line project. A lost cockatiel's extraordinary journey, 200 kilometres, and finally Shadow is back where he belongs. And later tonight, the remarkable technology set to bust Melbourne's gridlock.
Seven News brought to you by Industry Super Funds.
The police can't help themselves. My super doesn't work out for me. I'll be working forever.
Well, we've worked all our lives for this place. We'd hate to have to sell it to fund our retirement.
That's for sure.
Authorised by B. Dean for Industry Super Australia, Melbourne.
I'm 65 years old.
Oh man, this is such a long way away.
I might be the oldest, but I have an opportunity to prove to people that you can all put yourself outside of a comfort zone and fly. Bring it on.
The 10K Bindi Walk, an event Prickly Pam Patterson was desperate to conquer. As the field of screams set feet afire, her rivals weakened. And when Kenya's "Oh no, I copped a bad one" fell at the pointy end, not even the officials could steal victory from the Aussie.
You too can make it look easy with Sportsbet's new popular same-game multi. See what the punters are liking and get on board. Popular same-game multi, new from Sportsbet.
Job Trainer. Discover free or low-fee courses so you can learn skills for jobs in demand. See options in your state or territory. Job Trainer. Skills that work. Visit yourcareer.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
At Terry White Chemmart, get real deals on trusted brands like pharmacy-only Nexium 24-hour, ethical nutrients immune defence and folding probiotics. Shop in-store or online. Real value every day at Terry White Chemmart.
At Bunnings, we'll know that a kitchen is more than just a place to cook. It can be a classroom, you can have your kids at your bench, an art gallery for your kids' artwork, so your kitchen needs to be designed to fit your life, because Bunnings kitchens are made for real life. Shop at Bunnings wherever you are, whenever you want.
Bread is a part of life, so why not make life poppier, crustier, and more enjoyable, down to the very last crumb. Abbott's Bakery, every bit better.
Drama here in the Beach Shade Wrestling. Cole Flowers has failed to put away his opponent.
Pretty embarrassing, JB. He was throwing heaps of shade, but in the end, guess who got burnt?
We all know these things don't fold easily.
Yeah, but these moves were as desperate as a backpacker on Bondi, and that killer reversal got him right in the beach balls.
After that pommy sail fail, the tent door was left wide open and the Aussie pounced on the goal.
On you, Sandy.
Another make-it-look-easy moment from Sportsbet.
The first group of fruit pickers from the Pacific Islands has flown to Victoria to help save the struggling industry. Farming groups have welcomed them here, but fear it's too little too late.
The first wave of 1,500 Pacific Islanders easing Victoria's desperate picker shortage. Straight out of 2 weeks quarantine in Tasmania, here just in time.
It was pretty stressful. We were lucky we've got the guys coming in off the first plane load.
Much later, and this fruit could have dropped and rotted.
You only have one chance to get your crop in, and if you miss that chance, then it's sort of goodbye, and it may be goodbye completely from the business that you love.
They can't attract enough local workers. It's perceived as too hard. The government wants to change that image.
I think there is an opportunity to change the way we talk about the work that is available and the opportunities that may arise.
But farmers concede this is just a temporary solution to a permanent, long-term problem. 1,500, way too few.
We know that that's just not going to cut the mustard and that we're probably looking more in the vicinity of, say, 15,000 workers.
Kaltak Takoa is from Vanuatu, where COVID has devastated its main industry, tourism. His wife gave birth to Desi while he was in quarantine. This, he says, will give her a better life.
We're here to support the families, Papa.
Nick McCallum, 7 News.
An investigation has been launched after trams collided at Maribyrnong this morning. No one was injured, but there were delays on routes 57 and 82 for more than 2 hours. Both trams were able to be taken back to their depots. Farmers in the state's west have used their ploughs to deliver a blunt message in their fight against a proposed power grid.
I thought, why not just try and raise some more awareness about it, because nothing seems to be happening.
They say the planned project could force them to sell up. We know homing pigeons are renowned for making long journeys. Now we've met a little cockatiel who's proved just as gutsy. Shadow has turned up more than 200 kilometres from where he was lost, with his relieved owner convinced he was trying to find his way back to their old home in Geelong.
Quiet and tired after a long-haul flight.
As soon as he saw me, he carried on, and as soon as I got him, he just crawled into my chest.
Shadow usually has a repertoire of chirps and whistles. And that's how the 10-year-old cockatiel caught Sally Foster's attention as she arrived at the local pub on Saturday.
This little thing there catches my eye and he goes... I said, oh, thank you.
Shadow escaped from his cage in Maui in March and flew away.
We were looking all over East Gippsland. We weren't looking in Geelong.
The little bird took 1 month and 1 day to travel all the way to Whittington, 207 kilometres away.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's a battler. He's a little battler, I think, isn't he? Super bird.
Cockatiels are known for being extremely attached to their owners. Lauren thinks Shadow may have been trying to return to the home where Lauren's mother lived before she died, not too far from here.
In a weird way, I think he's trying to go back there.
Amazing.
because they had a very tight bond.
Birds do remember their home, like example like racing pigeons or homing pigeons.
After a visit to the vet, Shadow's high-flying days are over. Lauren says she'll be making sure her little wanderer stays inside.
I'm so grateful to have him back and hopefully have another good 10, 15 years together.
Here's a pretty boy.
Melina Saris, 7 News.
Now we're squawking. Jane Bunn joins us now. And Jane, there was a fair bit of cloud out there today.
Rich, there was indeed, but it really depended on where you were as to what the weather was like. Much of the Melbourne area was covered in a sheet of grey clouds. That broke up to reveal bright, pleasant sunshine, but only over parts of Melbourne. This was in Frankston. The city was right on the border. Look one way and there's cloud, the other sunshine. We started on 12.8 and reached a top of 20. There's more cloud tomorrow morning, then it finally clears to sunshine across Melbourne. That's ahead of our warm and sunny day on Thursday. Then there's a taste of winter. I'll show you how it'll unfold after sport, Mitch.
Winter on the way. Thank you, Jane. Melbourne researchers have uncovered a surprising cause of food allergies in children. Next, how baby dummies have been linked to an increased risk. What parents need to know. Also breaking news, a car crashes into a house on Melbourne's northwest. Live coverage. The Town Hall under fire for spending millions on sculptures as businesses struggle to survive. And later, the resort location now a real estate hotspot. How much it will cost you.
It's inhospitable and hostile, but the Adelaide Oval jungle has already been tamed by the Tigers. The Tigers have won! Now, in a Friday night blockbuster, can the Power reclaim their throne as the kings of Adelaide Oval? Power. Tigers. But first, thriller after thriller. It is unbelievable! These two teams don't know how to do it the easy way. Swans and Bombers will go down to the final seconds on Thursday Night Footy. Live and free on 7.
At ENS, we know that nothing feels better than getting that new appliance feeling, like this Bosch dishwasher made in Germany, only $9.99, or this huge 614-litre Fisher & Paykel fridge, only $24.99. Plus get free delivery and removal on fridges, dishwashers, washers and dryers. We'll also install your dishwasher from only $99. And we won't be beaten on price. So visit one of our 9 showrooms today, or shop online and get the ENS feeling for less.
Know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table.
Hunter Assist from Ladbrokes gives you all the tools you need to stay in control. Because if it's no longer entertaining, you've got to know when to walk away.
Take it away, Jose. Count your money when you're sitting at the table.
When frequent heartburn kept waking me up at night, enough was enough. So I tried Nexium 24-hour.
Unlike antacids that often require multiple doses per day, Nexium 24-hour is better. Just 1 tablet a day can provide 24-hour protection. Live life less interrupted.
That's it. Oh, man up, you're playing like a girl.
What's wrong with playing like a girl?
Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
You wash loads, but do you ever wash your washing machine? Every load leaves behind grime and, what's that smell? Pino Clean Washing Machine Cleaner removes 99.9% of germs, leaving it clean and fresh for longer. It's not clean unless it's Pino Clean.
At HCF, we define success as having your back when you've done yours in. Get 100% back on your first visit to one of our physio, chiro or osteo providers. Because we're not for profit, uncommon care is our bottom line. Join HCF today.
Know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table.
Hunter Assist from Ladbrokes gives you all the tools you need to stay in control. Because if it's no longer entertaining, you've got to know when to walk away.
Take it away, Jose. Count your money when you're sitting at the table.
To breaking news now, and just a short time ago, an out-of-control car has crashed into a house in Melbourne's northwest. Georgia Comensoli is in Niddrie this evening, and Georgia, 3 children have been injured.
Mitch, this is truly a horrific car accident that's happened on Hoffman's Road. I just want to show you the extent of the damage. This car has sailed over a safety barrier, through down the driveway into the garage, and the car has ended up inside the house. From where we're standing now, it's really difficult to see where the car has landed. Now, 7 News understands that there was 4 occupants inside that car, 1 male driver as well as 3 children. We also believe that the children are below the age of 10. Both the driver and one of the children have gone to hospital this evening. A number of emergency personnel have arrived on scene. Police are now investigating exactly what caused this car crash, but residents tell me that this isn't the first time that this accident has happened at the end of this T-zone. This is the second time that this house has been targeted over the last decade. Mitch.
Georgia Comensoli in Niddrie, thank you. Melbourne City Council is under fire for spending millions of dollars on a new sculpture while businesses struggle to stay open. The design is top secret but features a large kangaroo sitting on a chair covered in wire and lights.
Dodd Street's South Bank, soon to be home to Melbourne's newest piece of controversial art, and it has both sides of politics hopping mad.
There's a whole lot of reasons Victorians aren't coming back into the CBD. The lack of a $2 million sculpture of a kangaroo sitting in a chair is not one of them.
There may be other priorities that the City of Melbourne wants to consider.
The $2 million project is shrouded in secrecy, so we put our graphics department to work, showcasing what a kangaroo covered in wire and lights might look like.
It needs to be open to discussion, and possibly doing it behind closed doors is not the way to go about it.
Melbourne has a checkered history when it comes to publicly funded works. From the 80s designed Yellow Peril, the fake hotel on Eastlink, and Cowupper Tree in Docklands. That was designed by John Kelly, who'd prefer to see the money spread throughout the city's struggling art industry.
This would be a wonderful opportunity to reinforce the importance of artists in our societies.
In a statement to 7 News, the City of Melbourne defended its use of funds, explaining the project was commissioned back in 2017, long before anyone had heard of COVID-19.
I don't think art is worth $2 million. The artists, they're just as valuable as anybody.
Sonia Marinelli, 7 News.
Overseas, many businesses in England are preparing to open for the first time this year. Outdoor hospitality, hairdressers, retail and gyms will welcome back customers next Monday.
On Monday the 12th, I will be going to the pub myself and cautiously but irreversibly raising a pint of beer to my lips.
60% of adults in the UK have had at least 1 dose of a COVID vaccine. The country is likely to introduce COVID passports when mass events restart. North Korea has pulled out of the Tokyo Olympics. It's the first country in the world to withdraw from the Games due to the virus threat.
The Australian Olympic team is going to Tokyo, and we've got every confidence in the organising committee and the Metropolitan Government and the Japanese government to put on a splendid Games.
It's the first time North Korea will miss a Summer Olympics since boycotting Seoul in 1988. New research has uncovered a concerning link between sterilising dummies and food allergies. Parents are being urged to think twice before using antiseptic to clean their baby's comforter.
When kids spit the dummy, parents have a few options.
Quick rinse in the hot water and then let it dry.
We'll give it a rinse and wash off the dirt, but otherwise they've got to sort of build up an immunity, we reckon.
But parents who use an antiseptic solution to clean the dummy could be compromising that immunity. A new study followed 700 babies from birth to 1 year old.
Children who used a dummy with chemical sanitisers at 6 months of age had nearly 4-fold higher likelihood of food allergy.
But researchers say there was no increased risk of food allergy when dummies were boiled in water, washed under a tap, put in their parents' mouth, or not washed at all. The study is the first to find a link between dummy sterilisation and food allergies. Researchers say parents shouldn't stop cleaning dummies, and more studies are needed to confirm their findings.
Cleaning dummies is still a very good idea. We want to reduce infection.
You don't want kids pick up, dirty germs on the ground and, with everything that's going on around with COVID and things like that.
Louisa Cheatley, 7 News.
The real estate boom is spreading from Melbourne's suburbs and heading north to paradise. Next, Victorians aren't just holidaying at the Whitsundays, they're buying up a slice of heaven. We look at what's on offer. Also, how a car with a spider sticker could help solve a Murray River mystery. What caused a nightmare morning commute for thousands of Melbourne train travellers? And surprise wedding news in the Wiggle world.
He sees things in ways that we can't even begin to understand.
Brand new The Good Doctor, tonight on 7.
Harris Scarf's mid-season sale is on now with 40 to 60% off all homewares in Manchester, 30 to 50% off all clothing, footwear and underwear, and 20 to 30% off all electrical. Ends Sunday 11th of April. Shop great brands at great prices in store or online.
All lawns bright and beautiful. Trust Yates to care for all. Each little patch of grassiness, each luscious field of green. Yates grows the bits you want to see, but kills those pesky weeds. All lawns green and wonderful.
For all lawns great and small, great things start with Yates.
Being a parent can be tough. Browler's Baby and Child range can help make it a little easier.
Get back on the road again. Buy the Herald Sun today, scan the QR code and enter for your chance to win a year of free fuel worth $5,000. And you could be a lucky winner of a $150 fuel voucher. Only with the Herald Sun. Conditions apply.
The MS Dream Home Lottery is back, and this year, how many can win a grand prize? Turkey. Yes, 2 lucky winners will win a $1.5 million Porter Davis home or $1.5 million in gold. Plus, there are 2 early bird draws with your chance to win a Mercedes-Benz GLE and a Tesla Model 3. And there are over 6,600 other amazing prizes to be won. Get your tickets today.
At Spotlight, a home is what you make it. Save 30 to 50% off the entire range of Manchester, including 40% off all pillows, quilt cover sets and sheets. Save 50% off all towels. So decorate it, celebrate it and create it for less. Sail on now. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
I promised dragon fruit. What's that total? Dragons?
The Front Bar, Wednesday on 7.
What is happening to this show?
A fight on the banks of the Murray River may have led to the death of a man in 2015. Terence McCallion's body was found in the water by houseboat passengers. Police believe another man left the scene in Terence's car, which had a distinctive sticker of a spider. They're appealing to anyone with information to come forward. Passengers coming into the city from Melbourne's southeast had their patience tested on the rail network this morning. There were massive delays on the Cranbourne, Frankston and Pakenham lines because of an equipment fault at South Yarra. Some trains were stuck between stations for more than 40 minutes. Buy now, pay later shares have received their first boost in months today. More now from Gemma Acton.
Thank you. The ASX 200 roared back to life after the Easter break, jumping to a 6-week high, although just failing to hold on to close above 6,900 points. After a disappointing couple of months for buy now, pay later stocks, they made up some lost ground today, Afterpay rising by 10% and Zip by 9%. The Aussie dollar got a slight boost following today's Reserve Bank statement, while oil is recovering some of its losses from late last week. And job ads have surged to a 12-year high. Across the country, ANZ estimates there are now 190,542 positions waiting to be filled. It's now the 10th month in a row they've increased.
Gemma Acton reporting. Australia's real estate boom is extending to paradise. Tonight we take you to Queensland's Hayman Island, where luxury living is reaching new heights, as long as you have the money.
A sunset in the Whitsundays, the start of a 5-star chef-cooked meal by the pool, at a private luxury home perched high on the hill above the intercontinental Hayman Island resort.
There's one thing COVID did, it made people take a step back. And they've stepped back and they've looked at their lifestyle and their life, and what they're saying is, hey, you know, now it's time for us.
Australians unable to travel to exotic locations overseas are investing in property, and the high-end holiday home market is not missing out. 7 News travelled to the Whitsundays as a guest of Hayman Estates, a unique development in a World Heritage area, attracting strong local interest.
They're just Australian business people, and some of them are average kind of people.
But cashed up. The price tag for this home, $7.7 million. It includes 4 bedrooms with en-suites, private balconies, open luxury spaces, a pool and views for kilometres across the Ivory Sands and turquoise waters. There are just 21 home sites allowed to be sold on the island. Each owner will buy a slice of the Hayman Island resort, which has been rebuilt after Cyclone Debbie. $135 million has been invested to rebuild the resort. Steve Titmus, 7 News.
Back home, trials are underway of a high-tech solution to help keep traffic flowing through one of our most notorious bottlenecks. What it means for Melbourne's gridlocked roads is coming up after sport. Yellow Wiggle Emma Watkins has announced her engagement to Wiggles musician Oliver Bryan. The children's performer shared a picture on social media with the caption, "When life gets more sparkly." Watkins' ex-husband, Purple Wiggle, Lachlan Gillespie, has congratulated the couple. Sports next with Tim Watson. And Tim, it was just starting to look good for the Bombers until some horrible news on a star midfielder.
Mitch, he's gone in for surgery. His season all but over. The details next. Also some harsh conversations at the Saints, but there was still some smiles with Paddy back. All the Demons are asking for is a little RESPECT. Mitch, we speak to Max Gawn. The big guns ready to fire as Masters Week heats up for the Aussies. And the biggest casualty as surfing's world tour finally resumes.
Just when I think I've seen it all and nothing could get any better, you came on.
The most surprising acts ever.
Never seen anything like that in my life.
Performances that almost broke the internet.
I knew the minute you walked out.
Oh, Simon! Britain's Got Talent. I wasn't expecting that. Tonight, 7:30 on 7.
More Australian pet owners and their dogs love NexGard Spectra. The most complete parasite protection in one tasty tube. NexGard.
At Tab, we're on a mission to deliver confidence you're getting the best price. Meet the all-new lock. Just activate it when placing a tote win bet, and if the fixed odds starting price is better when your horse wins, we'll pay you the difference in cash. And the drone? Yeah, we overdid it. Get the best price with the lock. New on your Tab app. Tab, long may we play.
This year, the big city isn't big enough for both of them.
Tom and Jerry the movie.
Big or small renovations, save 25% off all lights plus 15% off all fans at Beacon's Home Reno sale. That's 25% off all lights and 15% off all fans. Sale on now.
Here at Amart Furniture, our massive Easter sale is on now, where you can save up to 50% off a huge range of stylish pieces. So, you'd better hop to it. Amart Furniture. These offers end today.
At Tab, we're on a mission to deliver confidence you're getting the best price. Meet the all-new Lock. Just activate it when placing a tote win bet, and if the fixed odds starting price is better when your horse wins, we'll pay you the difference in cash. And the drone? Yeah, we overdid it. Get the best price with the Lock. New on your Tab app. Tab, long may we play.
There's nothing more natural than change. Change helped you grow, to discover. Sure, it isn't always easy, but change has the power to excite, to refresh, to move us. It could be your first front door, or baby's first room. And the best thing about change, if you don't like it, you can always change it. Change starts here.
Welcome back. St Kilda hopes some harsh and honest feedback between teammates will be the circuit breaker to help get its season back on track. The Saints face a season-defining 3 weeks and a big call at selection.
Paddy Ryder marching back into Moorabbin, a much-needed lift for the struggling Saints after arguably their worst defeat under Brett Ratton.
It was an immature performance. People wanted to talk about the North Melbourne performance. This was the worst performance of the round.
We've had some pretty harsh, open and honest conversations in the last couple of days. There were a few efforts on the weekend that just weren't good enough, and we've gone through them, and we're going to hold blokes accountable here on out.
Strong words from the new co-captain, and for good reason. It may be April, but the next 3 weeks could very well make or break St Kilda's season, with games against West Coast followed by Richmond and Port Adelaide.
You can easily look at those games and be scared of what's to come, but they're also real opportunities for us. The good thing is, you get an opportunity in 4 days' time to redeem ourselves, and that's what we're going to try and do.
Ryder remains at least a 2-week training block away from a return. Dan Hanbury's progress from a calf injury continues to stall. The big question is whether the Saints roll the dice with Rowan Marshall after just 3 quarters in a VFL practice match, facing the might of Nick Natanui this Saturday. Bradley Hill's form also an issue.
He has been a little bit flat after some of the performances that he's had this year, but yeah, we've got to tell him to still be himself and bring what he brings.
Jade Gresham undergoing successful Achilles surgery today. Meanwhile, Dyson Heppel completed Essendon training today and will return to take on Sydney. David Zaharakis also in the selection mix for his first game of the season. Dylan Shield unlikely to return again this season at the Bombers. He underwent knee surgery last week. The meniscus tear worse than first thought. So he's looking at a 16-week or 4-month recovery time. So you can pretty much put a line through Dylan Shield for the rest of season 2021. Elsewhere, Giants captain Stephen Cornelio, he'll miss 8 to 10 weeks with a syndesmosis ankle injury. He'll have surgery later this week. Elsewhere at the Giants, Matt DeBoer star tagger. He'll miss 10 weeks with a hamstring. Phil Davis 6 weeks, and Lockie Whitfield still 3 to 4 weeks away. So Toby Green set to captain for the Giants against the Pies at the MCG this Saturday night. Tim?
Thanks, Macca. Melbourne stars Jack Viney and Christian Petrarca failed to train this morning while Clayton Oliver was sent for running repairs, but skipper Max Gawn is confident they'll all tackle the Cats in Sunday's blockbuster at the MCG, and all they're after is respect.
Jack Viney and Christian Petrarca, notable absentees.
No, Viney, Petrarca, we played on Sunday. We had a flight, looking after people at times.
Clayton Oliver took part in the session, but soon after was spotted at scans, having running repairs on his shoulder. He's also expected to face Geelong. Sam Wiedemann and Ben Brown train strongly. Both will play in the VFL.
they're both running as quick as they've ever run. So they've got their speed back, which is really exciting.
A fourth consecutive win would give the Demons their best start to a season since 1994. But all they want is consistency and respect.
We haven't been respected for a long time in this league, so to be able to play the brand of football and people know what Melbourne are going to bring, and over the 3 weeks it seems like there's a pretty solid brand that people are seeing, but we've got to make sure we keep doing it.
Last year's hub experience, the key to this year's success.
We got a lot out of it, and at times there's learnings that we can learn from that'll help us throughout this year when times get tough. So no, I think it was a competitive advantage what we took out of our hub.
Lauren Pearce and the Demons women's team will take on the Adelaide Crows at the Adelaide Oval on Saturday for a berth in the AFLW Grand Final. But Daisy Pearce remains in doubt.
She did a bit of running on the weekend and some skills and stuff, and I think that's her progression now. Keep the running up and see how she feels going into the weekend.
Dawn gave Pearce a few extra ruck tips ahead of her prelim final.
Adelaide Oval Crows, I don't have great memories. They came for me. Not just the team, the whole crowd. Everyone wanted me dead.
Sean Sowerby, 7 News.
Melbourne City has climbed up to second on the A-League ladder after a 5-goal thriller against Wellington. Jamie McLaren netted his 13th goal to remain the league's goal-scoring leader in the 3-2 win.
Into the penalty area and a beautiful header from Marco Tilio off the bench to put City back in front.
In the Premier League, West Ham jumped above Chelsea, Tottenham and Liverpool into the top 4 with a 3-2 win over Wolves. After a lean few years on tour, Jason Day still holds ambitions of getting back to world number 1. The Malady is returning to the Masters. Back in its traditional springtime slot, Augusta is much firmer and faster than it was in November.
Playing under the radar is nice sometimes. I'd much rather be in the spotlight because you're playing good. With the way my body's going, I feel like I can play to 50 now, which is great. And I just got to stay mentally sharp and try and want it more.
2013 champion Adam Scott and last year's runner-up Cameron Smith head a 5-man Aussie contingent. And two-time World Surfing champion Tyler Wright was a surprise casualty at the Newcastle Cup, going down to Courtney Conlogue in the round of 16. 7-time world champ Steph Gilmore advanced to the quarters and wisely knocked back a ride on a doomed jet ski.
I saw this big double-up shorey coming and the jet ski driver was sort of like, oh, come on, like, get on. And I just looked at him and I was like, hell no, and I just kind of got to the side.
Owen Wright and Julian Wilson survived elimination to reach the round of 32 in the men's event. And Mitch, that's sport.
Good on you, Tim. Thank you. Drivers could soon have a clear run through one of Melbourne's most notorious bottlenecks. The congested Burnley Tunnel has long been a source of frustration, but now there's a high-tech solution in the works.
OK, so here we go, and I guess it's very realistic.
Richard Olive is taking a virtual drive through a very different-looking Burnley Tunnel.
And I'm now into the tunnel. Oh, I can see the green pacemaker lights. They're not overbearing.
The retiree is part of an Australian-first trial to see if these iridescent lights could alleviate the tunnel's notorious traffic jams. They act as a visual cue to keep motorists driving at the speed limit.
We see it every day is no matter what level of congestion, we're pouring in 3 lanes at 80 kilometres and we're getting out 3 lanes at about 60 k's.
Studies show drivers automatically slow down on the kilometre-long uphill climb out of the tunnel, causing traffic to bank up.
I suppose I always assumed there was some blockage further out along the Monash freeway, but that's not the case, apparently.
The gloomy tunnels can't be widened, so it's hoped better lighting will solve the problem.
By opening it out, we're creating that sense of space that takes away some of the anxiety of diving down a hole.
130 Melbourne drivers are taking part in the study, with a similar system using blue lights already working well in Japan.
I sense that once they get used to it, people will say, geez, this is a pretty cool idea, and let's do it.
So far, the trial results are promising, and the Burnley could be lit up by the end of next year. Jackie Quist, 7 News.
Jane is next with the forecast. And Jane, how's it looking tomorrow?
Well, Mitch, it is another cloudy morning, but all parts should clear to sunshine after that. Then it is warm on Thursday. The full details are next.
Tonight on the latest from 7 News, open for business, a travel bubble mastermind explains the New Zealand rules. The Australian workplace making it illegal for bosses to contact employees out of hours. And the high-profile social set caught having clandestine COVID dinners during lockdown. Join me at 10:40 for the latest from 7 News.
They've lost their money.
90 grand of our life savings.
I can't believe this is happening. They've lost their house. It was going to be a new beginning for all of us.
This woman has left a trail of destruction in this town a mile long.
You wouldn't listen!
You blame me, don't you?
Are they about to lose each other? Justin! Home and Away, this week at 7 on 7.
Looks like members are getting free and faster deliveries with eBay Plus.
It's like the Fast and the Furious in here.
I found the Furious.
Whatever you bet on, take it to the next level. Take it to the next level.
With Foxtel, entertainment has never been easier. Love sport? Get the best seat in the house with live sport in 4K Ultra HD. Watch over 1,000 movies anytime. Want the world's best drama? No dramas. And enjoy everything Netflix has to offer. With an incredible sale on right now. It's the easiest decision you'll ever make.
What a weapon.
Foxtel, all in one place. Easy.
It's Australian to work hard for a future we can be proud of. It's super to have a top-performing fund investing for you like no other can. It's yours, the retirement you want with Australian Super.
Listen carefully. Watch. Learn. Mortal Kombat has begun.
There's a war coming.
We need to fight before it's too late.
Get over here!
Mortal Kombat. In cinemas April 15.
Hello again. There were pockets of bright sunshine today, but much of Melbourne had grey sky all day. The city began on 12.8 and reached 20.2. The warmest we could do was 21. That was at Phillip Island as the sun came out. Cloud is affecting southern Victoria, breaking up in the southwest during the afternoon, but lingering right across Gippsland. A trough brought thunderstorms to the far eastern ranges, and there was the odd light shower just in here, east of that trough line on the plains. A ridge of high pressure covers Victoria with that trough just cutting in. A cyclone is well off the northwest coast and that's taking a path away from Australia. The low of Brisbane should also slowly move away. For us, the high is moving eastwards as a cold front approaches. So thunderstorms return tomorrow anywhere east of the trough. Expect a bit more activity than we saw today. Thursday is the warm and sunny day. Melbourne climbs into the high 20s. And then a band of gusty showers crosses the south late Thursday into Friday. This brings an end to the warmth. Melbourne is about 17. Another front arrives on the weekend. This time it is cold enough for alpine snow. Sunday should be a taste of winter. Melbourne's only 15. Around the nation tomorrow, lots of showers in Brisbane and Sydney. There's the slight risk of a shower or storm in Canberra. Lovely in Hobart, lots of sunshine and 23. Adelaide continues its warm and sunny streak. That cyclone, well off the northwest coast, does cover Perth in cloud, but it is dry underneath. To Victoria, another cloudy morning in the south, but it should all break up to a sunny afternoon. Otherwise, that trough running in through here brings thunderstorms, most up on the ranges, but there is a slight risk at the Gippsland coast and across the northeast plains. So anywhere east of Echuca, Seymour, Traralgon, anywhere east of there. Closer in, we are covered in cloud once again tomorrow morning, but this time it should completely break up. We're looking at a sunny afternoon across town. That lets it rise a few degrees. The city reaches 22 on a sunny afternoon. We do have grey skies before that. It clears around 1 p.m. To the 8-day outlook, Thursday is the warm and sunny one. We're rising to 28. And it could be our last one with what is on the way. Cloud builds at night. Expect rain in the early hours of Friday morning, then some showers during the day, thinking just 17. Rising back up to 19 on Saturday. Showers begin in the afternoon and they continue on Sunday when it's only 15 degrees. It does recover slowly after that. There could be 25 millimetres in eastern suburbs. So we have cloud in the morning, then a sunny afternoon. Tomorrow, the top is 22, Mitch.
28 and then it all comes crashing down.
It does. 28, then 15 a couple of days later. Whew.
Hello, winter. Thank you very much, Jane. Now, here's what's on Sunrise tomorrow.
Thanks, Mitch. When you wake up, the CSIRO's investigation into everyday foods.
What the top scientists have discovered about what you're eating. We'll see you in the morning, Melbourne.
And that's the way it is this Tuesday, the 6th of April. Thanks for your company. For now, from the 7 News team, good night.